Okay, so if you're a furry, gay, or have been on the internet for long enough, you have probably heard about Warrior Cats. Warrior Cats is a series of novels based on the adventures of multiple clans of feral cats in the forest. The series was first published by HarperCollins and written by Erin Hunters and has been releasing books, comics, graphic novels, standalone novels, and more for the past 20 plus years. In those 20 plus years, a vibrant community was born, one that's still active to this very day and contains fans both old and new. And one thing they have in common is most of them are most likely queer. Myself included. Warrior Cats itself lacked explicit queer representation. The closest thing we've gotten so far are Tulsa and Jake, as well as Ravenpaw and Barley. Barley? The other cat. Cats who are described as good friends in the books, but if we use our super colorful gay lenses to analyze them and ignore heteronormativity, we get two sets of male cats who are heavily in love with each other. That's basically what a queer reading is, an analytical approach that interprets texts, films, or media from a queer perspective. This method seeks to uncover hidden meanings, subtext, and representations that challenge normative ideas about sexuality and gender. Queers have been doing this for a while, although it was formally recognized in the 1990s with groundbreaking works like
Eve Kosofsky-Sedgwick's Between Men
and Alexander Doty's Making Things Perfectly Queer. Today, I will fulfill my duty as a queer fan of Warrior Cats and make a queer reading about it. I will, however, not be focusing on a couple, but on a specific character. Nightheart is one of the three protagonists from the Starless clan saga, and is seen by the majority of the fandom as a trans character, specifically a trans femme character. But before we get into the thick of it... Okay, that's more like it. Okay, quick recap for those who are unaware of the lore. So, we got 5 clans. No, they're not 4. We got Thunder Clan, River Clan, Shadow Clan, Wind Clan, and Sky Clan. All live in the River Territories. They're going through a bit of a rough patch due to Star Clan, which is a separate clan made up of the ancestors of every clan mentioned before, telling them they have to revise and change the Warrior Code, the set of rules they live by. The only one that will be semi-important to us is the code that says that a cat now may swap clans to join their mate in a separate clan. Our story begins in Thunder Clan, with Nightheart, who at this point is only known as Flamepaw. One of the very things we learn about him is that he feels different. This is mainly because of his name, appearance, and lineage, since he is related to Firestar, the greatest cat the clans have ever known. In Warrior Cats, the name of newborn kids are usually associated with their appearance, but in this case, Sparkpelt, Nightheart's mother, chooses to name his son after his kin, Firestar, completely ignoring the fact that he doesn't look like him at all. It's very common for people who don't identify with their assigned gender to change their names either before, during, or after the transition. This is what is known as a chosen name. Many transgender people choose to change their name because the names that were given at birth may be either too masculine, too feminine, too non-binary, they carry certain expectations with it, or they simply don't identify with it anymore. Some people even go as far as to change their last name as well, symbolizing a new type of independence, especially for transgender people who have been rejected by their families due to their identity. So naturally, he doesn't really feel that this name fits him, and other cats really make sure to let him know he doesn't look like his name at all. He even feels a little bit envious when encountering another black cat from Wind Clan, Nightcloud, noted in his head how her name fits her perfectly. Now, let's shift our attention to Firestar and his relationship with Flamepaw. Due to being family, they're constantly being compared to one another. The clan keeps putting this impossibly high expectation on Flamepaw because they are kin. Naturally, this causes Flamepaw to begin despising Firestar and the idea of being remotely like him. This can easily be read as gender stereotypes being pushed onto trans people when they don't really act the way society expects their gender to act like. Every cat keeps pushing on him that he should act like this specific male relative, sound the same way he did, act the same way, and react the same way he once did. Therefore, something as simple as a name becomes full of expectations, stereotypes, and becomes associated with a specific gender, causing Flamepaw's name to become more of a curse than an honor. This, however, gets fixed on the ending of River, where after Jesus Christ, 3 warrior assessments, Flamepaw is finally awarded his warrior name. And get this, his warrior name will be Flameheart, like Firestar's warrior name before he became leader, Fireheart. Flamepaw is, of course, not very happy by the warrior name chosen for him, so he rejects this name, something that causes outrage in Thunder Clan. He replies, "I just know that I want something that reflects the cat that I am, not some cat from the past that you all wish me to be." The leader, Bramblestar, decides to make a compromise, changing his warrior name to Nightheart instead of Flameheart. That way, he will be able to reflect who he actually is, while also honoring his lineage. This is a huge step for Nightheart, for it gets him just a little bit closer to showing his family who he really is, finally detaching himself from the name that brought him so much stress. Now, moving on to the next book, Nightheart starts off with a significant amount of confidence after his name is changed. Despite feeling confident with his new identity, his clanmates don't really seem to share that sentiment, since most of them are still clinging to who they thought Nightheart was supposed to be. This is even more apparent when his mother and sister refuse to share a meal with him due to his name change. Sparkbolt claims that by changing his name, he is rejecting his own family, and is extremely disrespectful to Firestar especially. Unfortunately, it's not common for families to reject a trans person's preferred name and pronouns. Parents often let fears, misbeliefs, and theologies tell the way they feel about their child coming out as trans. Saying you love your child but refusing to use their name and pronouns isn't love. It's rejection in the form of transphobia. In this case, Sparkbolt and his sister Finchlight are using their beliefs as an excuse to reject Nightheart's new identity. Nightheart stands his ground, claiming over and over again that Nightheart is his name now, and he has no plans of going back to the cat he used to be. Still, all this rejection is starting to cause Nightheart to feel more and more isolated from his family. This is when the idea of switching clans pops up into Nightheart's head. He's convinced he doesn't fit in ThunderClan, but maybe he can find a way to be himself in another clan. It is way too common for transgender people to either be kicked out of their homes or for them to run away to escape the mistreatment they face at home. Once they are finally out in the real world, transgender people have a chance to finally be themselves without any repercussions. They are able to find community that loves them and supports them and can create a new lives for themselves. However, they are also exposed to more harassment, a lack of healthcare, economic barriers, and discrimination. Later in the book, Nightheart, alongside other cats and our second protagonist, Sunbeam from Shadow Clan, go on a quest in search of catmen where the clans are faced with a shortage of the herb and a possible green cough outbreak. During this quest, Nightheart and Sunbeam grow closer, as the Shadow Clan cat is one of, if not the only cat, who sees Nightheart as the warrior he really wants to be. She respects him and gives him the confidence to be himself. This is why I believe was so quick to fall in love with Sunbeam. To him, she represents escapism from his current situation, a safe space where he can grow and be himself without worrying about his lineage. It's a chance for him to maybe move to Shadow Clan, become mates with her, and start a new life by her side. By chapter 20, Nightheart has already made up his mind. He is moving to Shadow Clan to be with Sunbeam. He plans on slowly saying goodbye to the cats he cares about, and announce his departure in a couple days. But after an argument explodes between him and the deputy, Squirrelflight, he flees ThunderClan straight to Shadow Clan. Now, on the third and final book we will be analyzing, Shadow, begins with Nightheart making himself at home in Shadow Clan. During his stay, Nightheart does visit ThunderClan again a couple times. The first time is the most relevant, since he goes back to have a proper farewell for his clan and apologize for the way in which he left. Sparkbolt is more pissed than ever. She is still to blame by her prejudice to see the real reason why he left and refuses to really hear him out. The constant rejection from his own mother and sister becomes so strong that he even has nightmares in which both cats attack him and accuse him of being a coward and a traitor. During Nightheart's third and final task, however, he has a realization. Despite all his efforts to fit in Shadow Clans, he comes to terms with the fact that his real home will always be ThunderClan. So, he fails his task on purpose to return to his home, and once he does, his clan is hesitant to welcome him at first. The Sparkbolt and Finchlight welcome him with open arms. Or paws, I guess. Turns out, she wasn't mad at Nightheart for leaving. She just missed her kids. Incredibly enough, she apologizes. A powerful and emotional apology. Nightheart didn't know what to say. I only wanted you to see me for the cat I was. Nightheart, not Flameheart. Sparkbolt met his eye. I see you, Nightheart, she purred. I promise to do better this time. Nightheart felt his throat burning as he forced the words out. Thank you. This quote specifically always makes me cry. Nightheart got what so many trans people crave but sometimes never get from their family, which is love. This ending is a beacon of hope for trans and queer people from the fandom. Nightheart was put down by his clanmates and family members all of his life because they kept on assuming who he was supposed to be. And yet, throughout all of it, Nightheart defended his true identity. He stood up for himself every chance he had. He never settled, and he always made sure to look for a way to be happy while being himself, even if it meant leaving his loved ones behind. In the end, however, love was stronger than prejudice and old-fashioned ideals, and that was what ultimately helped Sparkbelt and Finchlight see and accept Nightheart for who he really was.